I've been hearing so much about this Phil Harris, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and I'm thinking, I have to talk to the man. I mean, I need to hear it for myself. So you're a bit of a legend now in South Australia, if not even Australia, just starting to hear
I
so much about you.
I don't know about that, but I'm trying my hardest.
You are something of a phenomenon. 15 years of experience, right? You founded Harris Real Estate. You've won the Salesperson of the Year, Real Estate Institute South Australia. You've won the Golden Gavel Auctioneering Champion. You you now won last year the Large Residential Agency of the Year. I mean, you have 5 offices. I mean, what is it? What is it that Phil Harris has got that special?
I think it's kind of always hard to kind of put it down to one thing, but like what you mentioned before, like I've been fortunate enough to have some very good people around me. So we've got and we started small. Like we started with 5. We had 5 people in our organization. Now we're about 180. We're an independent. We're not franchise, but we've always had a core. Like the very core of Harris is there's very, very good people at the core of that. But I would say, so number one is we've got very good people, but I think maybe what we've done better than others, we're not necessarily the best at sales or the best at PM. I think we're very good I think what makes Harris good is we're very good at most all areas. Some people have strong parts of their business and weak parts in others. We are very strong the whole way through. However, I think what I've noticed is the difference between Harris and other companies is that we are certainly a lot more passionate and much more strategic about continually improving our processes. So every day we have very structured strategic plans where we are continuing to improve. And so every day I feel this organization, we get better and better and better. So it's quite relentless. And I think that not many agencies actually really try and build a better business every day.
Yes. But I'm going to ask you this question. Not many people have got 180 people around them. Okay. And I went through your website and I looked at the quality of the people and they all look great. So there has to be something that you have that attracts these people. They don't just turn up because you're just good a little bit here and there. So what is it about you, Phil, that you give these people? What is it that they come to you for?
Oh, you'd have to ask them. But I think what you said 15 before, but I've been doing this I've been in real estate for 20 years now, right? So I'm 40 now. I started when I was 20, and I've always had a strong passion and desire for growth. So wanting to improve and wanting to get better. But equally to that, I've also had probably even more passion and more growth for serving, growing, helping other people. I always loved training other people. So when I first started, as soon as I started doing well, I started off in a little franchise office. I'd be coaching that little sales team on what I was doing to get more listings or to make more sales. Then I moved to another large independent agency. I was a salesperson. I wasn't being paid for it, but effectively I was head of sales training in that organization. Yes. And so I grew people, not being egotistical about it, but people grew around me. Does that make sense? So I was always, as I said, I didn't want to be paid, but like, okay, guys, on Thursday mornings, every Thursday, 8 o'clock to 9:30, I'm doing listing training. Not compulsory. Anyone who wants to turn up can turn up. So all these people would turn up, and I'd be doing training and coaching, all that sort of stuff. So then when I opened when I opened Harris going back 11 years ago, I had so many people just wanted to join the organization. Like it wasn't, I say that humbly. It was not like, oh, look at me, I'm so good, but it was, so many people wanted to be a part of I couldn't believe it. So I left an organization and a whole range of people wanted to follow me. So we want to come with you and be a part of it. And so today, that still remains the focus. Harris Real Estate is a training organization. And so we're a training organization. We just happen to specialize in real estate, but it could be car sales. It could be selling boats. It could be selling planes. We're a training organization that does real estate. We're not a real estate organization that does a little bit of training. Does that make sense? So it's an education growth environment. That's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be a part of that. But if you want to come here, it's not about comparing yourself to others, but it is about becoming the best version of yourself. And I try to.
I like that.
Oh, yeah. I try to get people to see in themselves what I can see in them. That's the focus.
It feels to me like I'm looking at myself in the mirror now. I'm talking to the same person. So really
Good.
what it is that your magnet is the fact that you're a giver. Your magnet is the fact that you are seeing the best in others, and you've got the tools for getting that out. And no wonder people want to flock to you, mainly because everyone wants to chase their best selves. And so if
and
tool, why not?
correct. And it's not an overnight thing. It's it's a lifestyle that's been developed over the best part of a couple of decades now, and the snowball gets bigger and bigger because there's so many success stories now of people that joined us as 21, 22-year-old kids, and they're now 30 and they're writing millions of dollars in fees. And so people hear about this, this story of this young person who joined Harris, and 5 years later they're a top performer. And so it builds this momentum of other people saying, hey, how do I get a job at Harris? I want to get a job at Harris,
Right. So what would be, if I said to you, so what would be your leadership style? Is it mainly transforming kind of leadership where you just train them and then that's it? Or is there something else?
Well, I think first and foremost, like, I'm very self-critical in terms of, I think that leadership is less about what you say, it's more about who you are. So you can't fake that. And so, I'm very big on having values and having strong integrity and absolutely doing the right thing. So I 100% do my best to live that. And so the team sees it. So I think that my leadership style is, this is who I am. And I try to set a high benchmark for values and for integrity and doing those sorts of things.
Yeah.
In terms of leadership strategy, my leadership strategy is, how do I serve others and how do I help other people become the best version of themselves? That's all I try and do. And then I've got strategies around that, So 3 basic things I try to do every single day is, number one is greet people with intent, which is I learned this not that long ago, but I've kind of always done it. So first thing every morning is making sure I shake as many people's hands as I possibly can and make sure I say their name every single morning. So I really try and get out there and greet people on purpose every morning. Second thing is start the fire. So every morning, what can I do to get Harris Real Estate up and running, turn the cogs? So is it an email I send out to the whole company, or an SMS, or is it my management team? So like, start the fire. And I think the third thing we need to be doing as leaders is, you have to be very good in real estate of not keeping a scoreboard. So without kind of being esoteric, but just learning to forgive people. So I think that, people's behavior can not be great, particularly salespeople at times, but you've got to learn to forgive, forget, move on. And how do you just help that person become a better version of themselves? So that's kind of my day-to-day strategy of what I try to follow. I don't get it right all the time. I make lots of mistakes, but certainly the intention is there to, become the best version of myself as well.
That is amazing. So what?
And I'm only just starting to get a hang of it now. Like, we're 11 years into business. Like, the first 5 was a roller coaster. The 3 after that was kind of starting to get a hang of it. The last 2 to 3 years, I feel like Harris Real Estate has really come into its own now. We've got strong leadership. We've got more mature people in the building. We'll probably do 2,500 sales this year. So it's a large kind of turnover of sales. So I feel like the company's just starting. 5 offices, yeah. So I feel like it's really starting to gather momentum now.
Yes. So I noticed that many of your offices are either inside Adelaide or south of Adelaide. So let's imagine now I'm from the north and I want to join you. What's my criteria for you to say, yeah, you can join me? Is it my results or something else?
Yeah, results and culture is, we've got successful people that work in country rural locations for us now, who are purely virtual agents. They don't have any office space, but they're using the Harris systems process, and they're number 1 in their markets without even having an office. So it doesn't have to be geographical. Is no barrier to us. There is a level of expectation around performance here, without a doubt. Not everybody has to write $2 million a year like Tom Hector, but certainly, there's an expectation you're selling probably a couple of properties per month to be here.
Okay. So what if the culture is not so right? What if, they're the top in their area, number 1, But you've heard that, there's a few things that's not so right.
Well, I mean, that would be very normal for us. I think that we battle with that like every, yeah, like I go to these conferences and I hear these kind of principles like, oh, it's all about culture. If we don't care if they're writing $1 million a year, if they're not culturally right on, then we wouldn't have them in our company. Like, that's just nonsense, so in my opinion, right? So if I wanted everybody to have the exact same values culture as me, then it'd be, I don't know, me and 2 other people working here. So there are certain things that are a constant battle and constant work to keep trying to get people onto the bus. But then there are also certain things that you cannot tolerate at all. But they're 2 very different things.
What would you
But
not
I
tolerate
am,
at all?
well, I think if you're starting to, clearly if you're breaking the law and doing things unethically or illegal, then that's going to be a major, major drawback. Like if you're just a super unpleasant person who just, certain people, they just can't help but pick a fight with everyone they meet, so that's kind of not for us. It's hard to kind of explain, but I think my responsibility as a leader is to, like, I am continually realigning people to the mission and the purpose and the values of the organization. That's what we do. And by the way, I'm continually realigning myself to the mission, the purpose, and the values of myself, so no one walks this path perfectly, right? So yeah, it's a combination of realignment. It's a combination of grace, of kind of giving people a break, but also reminding people of what we stand for and what we don't,
No, that's nice. I like that. So it's no black and white, right? But a lot of young leaders or new business owners, it's always black and white. And quite often it's black and white when it comes to the employees, and then they have a different set of culture for themselves.
Yeah. And that was me when I first started my company 11 years ago. I was black and white. I thought that everybody had to be like me. I was one of those typical young guys 11 years ago. I was in the office by 7 a.m. I was making my 40, 50 calls by midday. And that's just rubbish. That's not for everyone. I've got people in this organization now that are middle-aged mothers, and they sell 2 or 3 homes per month, and they drop their kids off at school every morning. They pick their kids up from school every day. They might make 5 or 10 telephone calls per day, but like, that's totally different to what I would have preached 11 years ago. So I think that there's places for all sorts of people and all different styles in real estate. There are fundamental patterns that are the same, but there are different styles and different people that can operate successfully certainly in Harris anyway.
Okay, so when you start, you're always a little bit black and white. So what was the click? What was the moment of a click in you that went, no, I need to work with people? Was there one of those defining moments?
Probably when I realized that I wanted to do something maybe a little bit bigger than the half a dozen people that started with me, right? Like if you want to scale a business in real estate, which is so personality driven, you're going to have so many more broader approaches. So as our company started to grow, more people equals more personalities equals more diversity. So that kind of got me thinking, you know what? But also, like, what young people don't want to hear these days is some things just take time. Like I see young principals, like, they want to have a business like Harris Real Estate, but they don't want to grind for 20 years either. Like Harris is not a pop-up company. I've been in real estate for 20 years now, so it's not an overnight success. Like we've been doing this for a while, and some things just take time. And a 40-year-old Phil Harris has a very different decision-making process to a 30-year-old Phil Harris, right? And I know a 50-year-old Phil Harris in 10 years' time, I'm going to think very differently of what I do today. So it's this evolution and growth path that we're on. And so now, yeah, in maturing in my own leadership style, I want to help as many people as I possibly can of all different walks of life, different age groups, different backgrounds. So, there are some fundamental things that have got to be done. Like you've got to be viable and you've got to be profitable, but there are different ways of going about it. And we want all of those people to be part of the Harris journey.
Yeah. I mean, for me, for example, having my twins has been a huge defining moment. And
how old are your twins?
They're 13 now.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
And so for me, when they were born, making a decision, I'm going to have dinner with you every night, was a defining way, a moment for me, and also a defining way for me to change the way I work. So everyone's got different.
Good, mate. What I say, well done to you. I was going to say as well. I have a 4-year-old boy and a 1-year-old boy, and my thinking is different now.
Yep.
My respect for working mothers is completely different now. I realized what a jerk I was previously, before I had kids, and I'd kind of had no understanding or no respect of the challenges that, that working parents have, not just mums, but dads as well.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, young, brash, inexperienced, whereas 2 boys have humbled me, and 2 boys have given me a far greater respect for working mums and families,
Mm. So what will be the weaknesses that we're having as we move from here now? It can't be the boys, right? So there will be some weaknesses in terms of the number of people around you is growing. Your
Yeah.
time is going to be lessened. I understand you're probably going to have some kind of management team that's going to alleviate you from mundane things. Delegation is going to happen. But where is that leadership of yours moving to now?
I still have a very strong passion for the sales team, so I'm working very hard. I wasn't running the sales department before, so I'm going to co-share that role with another individual. So focusing hard on sales is where I want to be, but it's really about now kind of crystallizing and isolating what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about. And so I am very good at training and coaching the sales teams. I want to spend time there. I'm also, one of my skill sets is developing training content for our sales team. So I'll spend time there. And the other third thing is really, recruiting new talent to join our organization. So they're kind of the 3 things that I will spend my time on. So the challenge for me is right now, at the moment, I'm doing too much and I'm letting people down because I'm taking on too many different roles. So it's about getting the education required and the right people around me to assist me to say, okay, those things that I've previously done, it's now time to let go of those so that I'm not the blockage in the organization. So I don't want to be the cork in the bottle that stops the organization moving forward. So how do we get Phil out of the way of doing things he's done in the past so that other people can do it so that the company continue to grow and move forward? So that's probably the weakness of mine, is letting go of certain things, but I'm getting a lot better at doing that now.
Right. May I say that it could be that a lot of leaders, as they grow, they still believe that they have to be the top dog. And so may I say that maybe letting go of selling and listing is your aim? And I thought that you tried to do that a few years ago.
I don't list and sell anymore.
Yes. It's
yeah, that was. I had to stop doing that. Yeah, that doesn't work for me now.
What else are you trying to stop then?
The main thing I'm trying to stop is trying to get involved in most departments. So I'd always stick my nose in property management or stick my nose into the operations manager. So I'm trying to go, hang on, sales is my focus. Grow salespeople and recruit more salespeople. Phil, right. Focus on those 2 things. Yeah.
Right. I see. Okay. So the day-to-day management is no longer what you want to be in.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. And I want to put, I do a lot of innovation as well, which is looking for new ideas and going to conferences and talking to people like you. And, I was at a conference yesterday and I got a few good ideas. So I get those ideas, I bring them back, I do my best to sell them to our management team, and hopefully we implement them.
Yeah, that's something nice for me to hear. Can I just ask you, because I know that you're driven by innovation, where do you think real estate is heading with this COVID era about to finish, or still going in Sydney now? But
I heard today, right?
Yeah. So where are we heading over the next, let's say, 4 or 5 years?
One of the great victories that came out of COVID, and it's hard to remember kind of the pre-COVID environment because it feels like it's been here forever now. But if you remember, the big conversation before COVID was like disruption. Everything was about disruption. Like everything was about technology is going to replace us. They're going to get rid of us. Like they won't need a property manager. I won't need a salesperson. I think one of the very refreshing things to me that came out of COVID, the moment COVID kicked in, real estate agents became really important again. You notice that, like the lockdowns. Yeah. And so I think what's kind of become really clear is that agents, I think we're here to stay. Right. And COVID showed that, right? Like everyone's like, oh, I need an agent to get this thing done. So I don't think we're going anywhere. I think that the shifts that we're going to see is that we're certainly starting to see some more scale coming to organizations now, where companies like ours, and there are other independents around Australia, are starting to do very, very big volume, where maybe some of the resources, systems, and processes that we can provide salespeople to write bigger numbers in our environment, there's a bigger gap that's starting to be created between good agencies and poor agencies. I think that's what is going to be the most influential thing in our industry. I think we'll start to see more and more market share going to the better agents, and it's going to get even harder to be an average agent, because average agents, they're not implementing technology, they're not getting trained up, they're not getting skilled up. And so that gap between somebody who's doing it well and the average operator is like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to experience the most in the next kind of 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Listen, man, I've taken enough of your time, but I want to end with just one question, if I may. How do you know you lead a good life?
I think for me, well, for everyone, I think that's between you and your creator. So whatever your belief structure is, I think that if that's between you and your creator, if you think you're doing your best to serve and help and make a difference in other people's lives, I think that's the direction of what I'm about. I certainly don't profess to be perfect. I know I'm not getting it right, but I think my intention is to do the right thing. Nice. And provided I do that, then I know I think I'm living a very good life to do my best to help as many people as I possibly can.
Listen, thank you so much for your time today, Phil. And I hope we're going to catch up again, because I really like your style.
No, my pleasure, Tom. Anything I can ever do, give me a call. All right.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye. Go.